What's up, family? We hope you're doing well today. We just want to welcome you to episode 2 of the Millennial Family Podcast.
Woo, woo.
We are your hosts, SheSharp and
SheSharp. Today we are discussing all things love. We are sharing stats on ways technology has impacted our worldview on dating, our millennial love story, and the best way to find love in 2024.
Oh yeah. Millennials are the largest generation in history. And this generation has transformed our approach to dating when incorporating online dating sites, dating apps, and social media. SheSharp, let's share some studies with our family.
Some millennial studies show about 22% of millennials believe that technology has made finding love more difficult rather than easier. 84% of millennials would rather find love in real life than online. 40% of millennials prefer to meet potential relationship partners through friends, family, or colleagues. 72% of millennial singles believe in the one. 36% of millennials still live at home with their parents, making dating more challenging for them. 50% of millennials spend more than $100 per month on dating.
Ooh.
And let's not forget that most millennials are living paycheck to paycheck.
That's real.
It's actually about 73%. And that just seems like a whole lot of pressure in the dating world. And I don't remember us having that much pressure when we started dating over 10 years ago. And so let's share some of our love story with our listeners. Let's start off with, who did you desire in a spouse? SheSharp.
Let's see. What did I desire? I think I desired somebody that was going to be a true lover. Like love me, somebody who's going to respect me, be loyal to me, faithful to me, be able to be a great mother if I decided to, have children.
Mm-hmm.
Those were pretty much the things that I really liked. Somebody that could cook, because I like to eat. So that was a big thing. But, I can cook myself too, so that's not like a be-all thing or not. So I think those were pretty much the basic things that I really needed and looked for in a wife. However, at that particular time, I wasn't looking, when we first, connected.
So did she have to be attractive?
Oh, yeah. I believe that is an important thing. Unlike people these days like to try to say that it's not about looks. But let's be honest, like it really is, a good bit about looks. It doesn't always have to be, because looks are going to fade away.
Mm-hmm.
However, that is one thing that I did ask God about. I was like, God, I want her to be able to be attractive to me, because I'm be honest, I didn't want to cheat. I didn't want to do anything like that. I don't want to be looking at other women, while my wife ain't attractive. So I specifically asked for an attractive wife that would keep my eyes, keep my heart. So just being honest.
Yeah, so personality and support ain't enough. Unfortunately.
I would say like it is. However, you want to be with somebody that you are attracted to, because man, you gotta think, man, the devil is gonna come bring you all kinds of distractions and temptation. And if you have that person that's just the apple of your eye, then you're not gonna be looking around, because God has given you who you wanted and who you needed. So
Understood.
yeah. So how about you?
So for me, like you, I really wasn't looking, to be married or even to be in a relationship. I had just given my life to the Lord at the age of 19, at the start of age of 19, and I met you toward the end of that year, and I was about to go into my 20th year. But I was just so on fire for God, and I had been hurt and rejected by all the men in my life at the time, including the men that I was related to. And so once I came to the knowledge of the love of Christ, I was like, this is it. Like, this is how a man's supposed to love a woman, and I was just like, this is all I really need. Like, I want to be like Paul, like the Apostle Paul. Like, I just want to preach the gospel.
Yeah.
Like, and so, but over a short period of time, the Holy Spirit started to like prick my heart, soften my heart towards the idea of marriage. And I remember speaking with the Holy Spirit and saying that, you know what, like if I did have a spouse one day, like I guess I would want to be super close with his family, because that was one of the things that I lacked. I came from a broken home, and I wanted to be so close with his family to the point where when anyone looked at us, they wouldn't be able to tell if it was his biological family or mine.
Yeah.
That was just so big for me. And other than that, I wanted to be attracted to him. I wanted him to be funny. I love to laugh, and I wanted him to have strong leadership skills because I came from a family with dominant women, and I definitely didn't want a man that I could run over. Sometimes I want to take that one back.
Yeah.
But
so not over here.
But yeah, and I did think about, children, but not too deep, into it at the time. I didn't have an example, before me of parents that were just hands-on.
Yeah.
And so that thought didn't really, come to me too much. But yeah, I know that, looking back on it, I mean, everything I asked for is what I have now.
Amen.
So what were some non-negotiables for you? Like for me, it was he had to be Christian. Like that was like it was a non-negotiable. And yeah, I can't really think of too much of course like faithful and stuff like that, but I think that's a given.
Yeah.
What were some for you?
Being a man, male friends, that was non-negotiable for me.
Mm-hmm.
Having, that extra baggage on the side, While I know, one of the friends that you do have is male, but that's only because I trust him.
Yeah.
And, being around him and talking to him, like he has no ambitions of sleeping with you.
Right.
Trying to get with you, anything like that. So I can trust him, and I love him, I feel like, he could be like, a brother to me, So trust is a big thing, but that was a make or break thing, if you want to have male friends and, you don't want to be with me, so.
Well, yeah, and with the male friends, I personally think that there is a difference between male friends you typically make in adulthood versus male friends you grow up with. So for me, there's a distinction. And so my male best friend has been my best friend since I was 14 years old. And when Jaron came into the picture of my life, my male best friend was totally respectful, of Jaron. And I mean, when they talk, they out-talk he and I's conversation.
Cool. I like him.
And there's definitely just a mutual respect level there.
Yeah. Yeah, he good people, man.
And so what were some things that attracted you to me and then me to you?
Well, I mean, just being honest, just looking straightforward, like your beauty. I was attracted to you when I saw you, and I don't know if we're going to get into our story, when it comes to that. But when we saw each other, or when I saw you in church one day, and
what was I doing?
You was on some crutches. And you had gave a testimony, about, basically your life up until that point, and people, be thinking I'm crazy, but, in that moment, the Lord told me that you were my wife.
Say what?
Yeah, it was crazy, And I know that and there's no, nothing negative, but at that particular time, you came with some baggage, from the past. And I know from how I am, I'm impatient when it comes to stuff like that. So I was like what? Like, Lord, like her? And I'm like, yeah, she pretty, but Lord, what's next? And so I told the minister of music at that time, I was like, bro, I said, God just spoke to me in this moment and told me that that's my wife. And he like, you sure? I'm like, yes. And so when I saw you that day, that's when I started to be attracted to you, off your beauty. And then it wasn't until we went out for this singles ministry thing that we had to where it clicked even more. Because, we had the single ministry things, and I was never into doing the single ministry thing. I thought it was corny. I didn't want to touch on it or anything like that. But, one of my friends invited me. He happened to be one of the guys that was over it. He's like, man, come on out, hang out. We actually went bowling. And so I was like, man, okay. So bowling's, one of the things I like doing. So I went out and I saw you there, but you were with another guy. You was with one of your guy friends, And so, yeah. And I was like, well, I guess she taken.
Plot twist.
And so it was crazy because there was another girl that was trying to holler at me there too. But I wasn't interested. But when you came, we ended up being the top 2 bowlers that night, and we started talking trash to each other, and it was very, very flirtatious, And I know I'm saying it was flirtatious on my part because I was like, man, this girl, this is her, and she actually talking to me right now, and so after that, we talked trash to each other. I ended up beating you in bowling. Let's keep it real. And the crazy thing was like, SheSharp has never bowled as good as that night that we met. Like, that's true.
It was divine.
It was divine the way that it happened, And so like my thought that night was like, man, like, was she with the dude or not? So we exchanged at that time Facebook information, and then like that's how it all started.
Yes. And I do want to add, one of SheSharp's non-negotiables was that he didn't want to be with someone who came from a broken home.
Yeah.
He wanted to be with someone who grew up in a stable household, Christian household with 2 parents.
Yeah.
And when I was testifying that night at church, I was testifying about God healing me from my broken past.
And let me clarify this, because it's not just about that. For me growing up in the hood, it's like you see all this, like the broken homes, and you see the natural hood chick, and she comes with a lot of baggage.
And I was that chick.
And so, I didn't want to have to deal with that growing up, because I'm like, I see these girls every day and they headaches, and so, but that's the thing, because I don't want people to be like, oh, bro, you can't. No, it just happened to be, this is where I grew up, this is what I'm used to seeing. And so that just reminded me, I was like, oh man, like, but, everything turned out well
with patience.
With patience, that was key. And that's the thing, man. I'll never forget. My mom told me, and SheSharp is the first girl that my mom liked. She thought like all the other girls were not truthful and fake when it came to meet her and stuff like that. But her and my wife, like, they clicked, and so after that, like, whenever I took her back home, I came back to the house, my mom told me, she's like, you're going to have to be patient with that one. And I was like, what you mean? She was like, you got to try to trust God. And so I had to be patient. She had to be patient, And, we just kept it moving.
You kept trusting God.
Yeah. So what about you?
Well, so going back to the night we were at the singles ministry outing, like you said, we like trash talked a lot, and I'm really competitive.
Very competitive.
Typically, I'm used to like talking a lot of trash and keeping everybody like on their toes, But you kept me on my toes, and it literally made me do a double take. Like, what? Like, I would say I would talk some trash, then you would talk some trash, then I would talk some trash, then you would talk some trash, then I would talk more trash, and then you still came back. I was like, whoa, he could hang.
Yeah, yeah.
And when, after that night, like you said, you did win by just for like 4 points.
Whatever. Look, come on.
And I got home and like my Facebook was full of like Christian content. Cause I was on fire for the Lord, especially being like a new believer.
Yeah.
And so SheSharp wrote on my Facebook wall, "Loser." I was like, the audacity.
Yeah, I was flirting, y'all.
Y'all, that was attractive to me. But let me tell you, some of the other things that attracted me to you was that you were straightforward with your intentions.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have to wonder, does he like me? Is this going anywhere? You were like straightforward, like, yes, I want to start pursuing you. Would you be my girlfriend? Like, over months, like you started to really like, put stamps in like our relationship marks, and so I love that your intentions were clear.
Yeah.
And
I wanted you.
I own ya. And another thing was that I just love the fact that you are able to speak with genuineness and respect to anyone. Like, regardless of their education level, you're going to speak to them with the utmost respect and just like a human being. And, again, I come from like a broken home. I also grew up in the hood. So I have, family members on different levels.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you are able to speak to each of them and connect with them, in the most special way.
Yeah.
And I just love that about you. And as y'all can hear, like SheSharp is just such a natural with his words. And my love language is words of affirmation. And I just love to just hear him speak.
I appreciate that.
Yes. And also, again, I love to laugh. My father is hilarious.
Yeah, he is.
And like literally he has like the personality of Martin Payne.
Yeah.
And like SheSharp has the clean version of that. And, y'all get to hear some of that. But I just love, like, our flow, our chemistry together. And SheSharp is such a protector.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I love it.
Majority of the time, he exudes joy. And, he's faithful to anything he puts his hands to, hardworking. He has a spirit of excellence on him.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I just love all the things.
It's funny, she said that I exude joy, but she used to think that it was fake.
Yeah.
At one point, just because, like, if you know me, then like, a lot of times I'm the life of the party. Like, I'm loud. I like to scream all the time. Man, what's up, bro? Yeah. All that type of stuff.
Even in like 5-star restaurants.
Yeah, it don't matter where we at. We're going to laugh. We're going to have fun. I'm going to be loud. And so that's how I was, and she was like, nah, this can't be real, because I'm smiling all the time. Like, I rarely have bad days, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, I just continue to try to keep a joyful moment wherever I am. And, until she met my family, then she really got to see, like, okay, this is legit real.
Yeah, because his brother had the same joy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I saw all the family pictures all around, and I was just like, wow, like, this is really what a family who love each other, like, look like.
Yep. And that comes from, my mother and my father. Like, they just exude love to the T.
Yeah.
With family members, with their children, with friends, with church members,
neighbors.
With strangers, neighbors. Like, it don't matter who you are. Like, my parents are going to love you and they're going to respect you, And they're going to keep it moving. So, and I just want to say, like, the moment that I knew, though, that we could really, like make it was that night I came over. It was like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, and that night, and I could tell y'all this, like, so I had just came from homecoming game, football game at McKinley, and was having a great night with my friends. And then, they wanted to go to the club. And so I was like, cool, let's go hang out, And so we went to the club, and it's like I just lost the taste for it. And I remember texting you, like, like, what you doing? And, you told me, and I'm like, hey, can I come over? I was like, it's late, but, can I come over and we just talk or whatever? And so I left the club. I told my boys, I was like, man, this ain't for me no more. And I came to see you that night. And, you remember?
Yeah.
We talked till about 5 in the morning. Like, it was like legit. We ain't talking about no sex. We ain't talking about no kissing or nothing. We talking about goals, life ambitions. We talking about Christ. We was talking about everything. And it was just like that conversation started it all. I'm like, man, this girl is like real with it. You know what I'm saying? So like that night was like a good night of confirmation for me.
I love that. And, I didn't live on my own at the time.
Yeah.
So, but I also just want to put out there, looking back on it, we probably would have, waited till the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
don't want to give room to the enemy, but
that's true.
Yeah, but God's grace is sufficient.
Yes,
it worked out for us, but
yes.
We definitely don't recommend that.
Yeah, don't meet up, 5 in the morning, 2 in the morning,
But no, that really was like such a memorable night. It was.
That made the difference.
So, random question. What are your thoughts on women taking the bill on date night?
On date nights? I think every situation is different. I'm not the type of dude that's, just say, hey, bro, you got to pay for it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll pay for it, you know what I'm saying? Because, you're my wife. And even when we were dating, if I made that initial contact, like, hey, let me take you out. I asked you.
Right.
So, yes, I'm going to pay for it, It's different if you ask me, like, hey, Jen, can I take you out for dinner? Cool. Like that is going to make me feel appreciated. As a man, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to pay for me. It ain't going to make me feel less of a man.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like, this girl like me, for her to actually want to spend some money on me. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. So I think every situation is different, Now, if, I know you got a lot going on, like, you got, car note, and you doing your own thing, and whatever the situation is, I'm definitely going, hey, let me take care of this, or let me help you out, with this bill, if I can. Not bills, but the food bill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Boundaries.
The boundaries, set them early.
No, I asked because there just seems to be so much pressure on single millennial men and Gen X these days, just to provide. And we just read the stats that most millennials are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And they're also spending $100 a month on dates.
Yeah.
And then when we look at the single millennials, we know they're actually not dating at all.
Yeah.
They're actually focused on their goals to get more income.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like trying to see if you thought it was okay for the woman to help out.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so this is a thing, of course, we have, and I wanted to say this, we had this conversation before, but we always talk about the traditional dad, the traditional mom, back in the day, dad brought in all the money, you know what I'm saying, worked. And, a lot of the women back in the day were at home, like that was cool. Things change over time, but we have to remember, even with those relationships, man, there was a lot of stuff that happened in those relationships, infidelity, all types of stuff that happened.
Abuse,
you know what I'm saying? Things that were happening, that did not dictate that this was supposed to be the blueprint, you know what I'm saying? Now, we do have a biblically based mindset. So, yes, If a man don't work, a man don't eat.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it's imperative that, guys do make a way to be able to provide for their families. You know what I'm saying? I believe that's biblical. However, living in today's society with everything being on the rise, like it's really hard for the average middle class man to be able to provide by himself, for a family or a wife that wants to stay, in the gates, the biggest house on the block and all this type of stuff. Like it's going to be impossible for him, living on the kind of income that he has to be able to try to provide that. So I do believe that it is okay for a woman, especially nowadays. If you want this, then we both have to pitch in as a family because that's what we are. We're one now. So it's not like what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. It's ours.
You talking about for marriages?
For marriages, yeah. Now, if we're talking about, before marriage, man, you have no obligation at all to anybody. You know what I'm saying? If you're pursuing somebody, yeah, I think you need to show that you have interest, but if it puts you into the point to where it's pressure and, this woman is coming at you like you broke, keep it moving, bro. Like she ain't the one if she gonna treat you like that. Because a real woman is gonna understand it's hard out here and this dude is showing interest and he's willing to put in the work for me.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Men are in the same economy women are in, and I really think a lot of the issue does come from social media.
Oh, yeah, it's pressure.
The comparison, everyone posting their highlight reels, and not their lowlights.
Right.
And so it's like, if you are listening to this podcast episode and you are struggling with contentment, I would say start to like unfollow or mute some of those influencer pages who are like just in their quote unquote bag.
Yep.
And they people portray that they're actually in their bag, but these people have 9-to-5 jobs.
They do.
They're just not posting that part.
Right.
And so, we're all for just wanting what God has for you. Like, not necessarily worrying about your neighbor.
Yep. I'm off social media right now, still taking, because we just finished our fast, you know what I'm saying? But it was good for us to get away from social media for a moment because it's like it brought clarity and freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, I'm definitely not the type of person where I want to look at everybody's lives and see what's going on. There's some things that, do entertain me and, I would like to know more of, but I don't want to sit up here and look at everybody's life because on social media, a lot of times life can be fake. And that's the thing, it's pressure when you see all the people that look like they're happy, but realizing that they're going through divorces or, their family is going through this and that. And they're on the, FaceTime, Facebook and Instagram, like just smiling it up, like be real, be authentic with what's going on because that's going to help somebody else through a struggle. If they know, okay, he got everything made and then he's still struggling or he got the same issues that I have, but he's still pushing through.
Exactly.
That's the example that you want to set and that you want to, the inspiration that you want to give, not, oh yeah, I'm always good.
Right. And so as you unfollow or mute some of those pages with, the influencers or couples, artists, whatever, who are showing, perfection in their, like, nothing but the highlights. Start to follow people you actually know, and if you're single, follow married couples, that you actually know. Yeah. Like, you'll see that even as Valentine's Day is approaching, like, people who are actually married and happy typically don't do like 100,000 roses.
Yeah, no.
And the candles everywhere and all that. Like, we be in our PJs.
Right, just spending time together is a plus, especially nowadays, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. You want to be with somebody that when things are good, y'all still good. When things are bad, y'all still good.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Somebody to weather the storms with you. Like, if you start, dating on like a high note, the woman is going to expect it to keep going. Like, you're renting this car or borrowing this Tesla from a friend, just to impress this woman.
Yeah.
And she's going to expect you to keep that lifestyle up.
Yeah.
And you're already starting with false expectations. And so it's better to start actually on the lower end. Like, just be honest.
Yep. Build from the ground up so y'all have something together. And you have to understand, like, that every woman doesn't think like what we see on social media.
Come on.
So you're going to have those good seeds and you're going to have those bad seeds. And you have to figure out which ones are good for you, or which one is good for you, in the long run, man. So don't be discouraged, man. Keep doing what you got to do. Respect all the women, in your life, because, like, they're going to have some women that's going to give you bad taste. Just like some men are going to give some women bad taste, Don't take that out on the next person, that you meet, so.
Yeah, and you ladies out there, you want to have a love story that you'll be happy to tell your kids about.
Yeah.
So with that being said, has technology made finding love more difficult for millennials?
I'm going to say this. In life, you always have to have balance. Balance is key. There's good and there's bad. And the way that you use technology can either be good or bad. I think that for some people, and just living in the day and age that we live and everything that we see, it does make dating harder. Because you're looking and you're seeing and you're comparing 24/7, and, I'm not to knock anybody, but you see, people that like the Kardashians, all these rich families, and a woman has to compare herself to that.
To somebody who had plastic surgery, and got BBLs and all that stuff.
And so, and as a man, the entertainment industry understands that sex sells. So while creating this image to the man, he's like, man, I want a woman like that. And that's not all men, but we're talking about using social media and is it hard, is technology hard for dating? And if that's the mindset of that particular man, that he wants this particular woman that he sees that's constantly pushed to him, it's going to make it hard for people to really first have trust in the person that they're real and authentic.
Right.
Because they're basing it off of what they see on social media. And so I think that can be detrimental to whatever person that is, because, you're going out there, and that's why you have the whole catfishing thing.
Right.
Which is, a big thing. And
but also, like, AI has taken it to an entirely different level.
You can't trust nothing out there right now.
You need discernment.
Right. That's the biggest thing. And I was going to say with social media, if you decide to start dating on social media, you have to remember this. First, you want to make sure that this person is real. And
that they're a real man or a real woman.
Real woman, yes, because you don't want to get lost in going down that loophole.
God.
Like, so if you're going to do this, why don't you ask another friend or somebody else that is on social media who this person is, or look at their friends list, see who they're connected with, and start asking questions. Because that's when the real truth is going to come out. If you see that they're not tied to or connected to anybody that you know, then you probably don't want to go after that particular person.
And that's a great segue into our next topic. So we want to share the top 5 ways to find love.
Yes. And starting with number 5 is what we just talked about. Social media is the last one. And as we stated a couple of things, why. If you're going to look on social media, then again, you need to reach out to different people. Hey, who is this person? What is their personality like? Are they trustworthy?
Yeah.
Are they who they say they are? Do they have this type of job that they look like they're having? All this type of stuff.
Give us the deets.
Moving on to number 4. The 4th one is through dating websites or apps. Do you know anybody that did a dating website or an app?
Not firsthand, only through like secondhand reviews. No, you know what? I actually do. We actually have a couple at our church. They are of the Generation X.
No. I think they're baby boomers, huh?
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're like what? Is that like 50s?
plus.
Okay. And so, yeah, they actually met through a dating app. One lived in California and the other one lived in Louisiana. And it actually worked out. And I mean, I can see how, they really are like a match made in quote unquote heaven on earth.
And it's working for them, so that is a blessing to see.
Yeah.
That does work. So dating apps do work. Again, if you're going to do those things, just make sure that the person that you're reaching out to is a legit real person. And that, because we've heard stories about, things happening to people when they go to these dating apps. So you have to be careful when you're using these things. So again, make sure this person is authentic.
Right. And, as we shared earlier, I thought that the joy that SheSharp exuded wasn't real until I met his family.
Yeah.
And so meeting the person you're dating's family, their friends, like that's also like a huge telltale sign, because oftentimes when you meet someone through dating apps or even on social media, they can start love bombing you, which is where they do all the right things, and it's like you're falling for this person in this short amount of time, and you think this is the one. Y'all get married and then they switch up on you.
Yeah.
And so you want to avoid those things.
That's right. So moving to number 3, the third one is the work relationships, colleagues, anything like that.
Do you know any colleagues who met at work?
Yes, I actually do. So there's a couple that they got married a couple years ago. The funny story is the guy, he was going to be what we call a brother of the Sacred Heart. He was going into that position because I work at a Catholic school. And so in that position that he was going in, you cannot be married. Ooh. So it's kind of like something like a priest. You can't be married, anything like that. And crazy thing is, like, when he saw her, he was like, I'm throwing all that to the side and I'm going after her. And so they are married, happily married, and things are going very well for them right now. So, yes. So I have seen work love happen and be successful.
Love it.
Yeah. And number 2 on our list is in social spaces. So what are social spaces, SheSharp?
Social spaces are gathering places where people gather and interact. So, for example, it's a place where we actually met.
Yeah.
So as we stated before, we were at an outing that our church's singles ministry was hosting, and the outing was actually at a bowling alley.
Yeah.
And so that's considered a social space. So we highly recommend you get out your house and go to a gathering place, because you never know if the person that is your forever love will be there.
Yeah, but just remember this: we're not talking about going to the club.
No.
Yeah, we're not doing
Clarify.
that. Yes,
brother.
Yeah. So we want you to go to safe spaces, good spaces, where you're going to be able to enjoy yourself, be able to have a clean, clear conversation with somebody else.
A sober mind.
Yeah, and a sober mind. You don't want to do things drunk because, man, it just take you where you don't want to go.
Uh-oh.
So
make you pay more than you want to pay and make you stay longer than you want to stay.
Yep, that's what our pastor tells us. That's what sin will do to you.
Okay.
Yeah, we want you to be in good spaces and be at a safe spot where, you can have fun with somebody and, be sociable.
So, another option for that would be like if your friend is having like a birthday dinner or a Christmas party, like, something that's like safe and low key.
Yeah. And that brings us to our number 1, since we just mentioned friends, a friend's birthday or something like that.
Right.
The most common way to meet your future partner is through a mutual friend.
Wow.
Yes.
Like, even with technology and all the things present, the number 1 way to meet your forever love is through mutual friends.
Yep. Our family members who, somebody that knows the person, that knows that both of y'all can hit it off.
So if you're still single and you desire to be married, check your friend circle. Yeah. You might actually need some new friends.
There you go. If they ain't trying to hook you up with the right one, then you need to look elsewhere.
And for those of you who are listening and are married and you do have single friends, try to, check your circle out and see who might be a potential forever love for your single girlfriend or guy friend out there.
Yeah.
Now we're inserting the best of the best way to find your forever love, and that is through the leading of the Holy Spirit.
That's right.
Okay, so we have a couple scriptures we want to leave you with to encourage you. Matthew 6:33 says, "Seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and he will give you everything you need." And so this scripture is telling us that if we put God first in our daily life, in our plans, he will take care of everything else. It's like our pastors say, if you take care of God's business, he will take care of your business.
That's right.
And so we want to encourage you with this. And So good.
Yeah. So we want to thank you for listening to the Millennial Family Podcast. And
go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to like, share, and comment what you would like to see on future episodes and your thoughts on this episode.
We hope y'all have a blessed day or night or whenever you watch this. And we want to say,
peace.
Yeah.